We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC and Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. What is up, everyone? Thrift Barringer here with Richard Holdridge on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Got a fantastic show. I am live here, as you see the Hall of Fame behind me at the Columbus State Lumpkin Center. And I've been calling Summer League games for the CSU team, men's team camp all week long. 47 programs have played the last 3 days. We have now covered 10 different schools around this area. You heard that right, Richard. 10 different schools that we have covered and called a Summer League game already in 2 weeks. I mean, that is the reach of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Yesterday, I did something that I don't know if it's been done. I literally ran between two buildings from the rec center right across the street and the Lumpkin Center and called two games simultaneously between Brookstone and Columbus, and then between Carver, who was taking on – no, I can't think of the team. I think it was Middle Georgia that they were playing. Had a fun time, but we miss you, Rich, and we know that you're ready to get back this weekend.
Definitely ready to get back. I should be back in time for the championship game between the Columbus Lions and the Corpus Christi Tritons. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know you are, Richard. And then on Saturday, Richard's putting on his play-by-play hat for the Rapids. That's how initially I got to know him because of what he was able to do with the Columbus Rapids. They're the indoor soccer team. And now, Richard, you're going to be calling for the Columbus United FC soccer team that plays at Kinnett Stadium. And they got a game tonight. It's Ted Lasso night. It's literally about to play in 50 minutes. We wish Coach Brett Teach and that organization a hard-fought win, hopefully against Pensacola. And then we're going to be doing the New Orleans Jesters as on Saturday, 7 p.m. We'll have a 5 p.m. pregame. We're going all out. We're going to show support to these Columbus United. And, again, it will be at Kinnett Stadium. I know you're excited about that, Richard.
Oh, yeah, very excited to return to the broadcast booth to call soccer, where I got my start approximately almost 3 years ago when Coach Jason Gibson reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be the play-by-play announcer for the Columbus Rapids. Had a great 2 seasons calling games for the Columbus Rapids, which also led to calling games for Columbus State and also the GIAA State Championship. And I really think that, the outdoor game and the indoor game are very similar. I'm excited just to be a part of calling the broadcast for Columbus United, which is going to be a lot of fun this Saturday.
We also have the championship game. And by the way, this show is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC, but we got the championship game of the AIF. The Columbus Lions, who haven't lost in 2 years, are going to be hosting Corpus Christi Tritons, and it's going to be an excellent battle. This is probably the best team Columbus has faced in the last 2 seasons, so pack the Civic Center out, and if you're not able to make it, you can watch it live on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, or you can watch it right here on this Facebook page or on the Columbus Lions YouTube channel and the AIF YouTube channel. Richard, let's stop holding him because he's got practice here, and we appreciate him joining the show. I say it's my guy because he's my favorite quarterback. He is a stud. He's got the swagger, and he has just been lights out these last 2 years. If you add all the other quarterbacks in the AIF and you combine all their stats, they're not even halfway of what Marcus Brooks has been able to accomplish. Marcus, thank you so much for joining the show, man. Marcus, you're muted real quick. We can't hear you. There you go.
All right, so appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And we know you just had to make that drive from Albany all the way to Columbus. You got
It's
practice
making.
as it leads up to the championship. How's this week been, man, with you and your teammates? How's the focus been? How do you feel about your team as you head into the championship?
I mean, I feel good as always. We're doing like Coach Dane wants. We're taking it day by day, just getting more mentally prepared and physically prepared for this battle that we're walking into on Friday.
Marcus, this is an unknown. You have not faced the Corpus Christi Tritons yet, but the level of play going up against Corpus Christi, they did lose to Harrisburg. I mean, so this team is beatable, but you do have some unknowns because this is the first time that you've faced Corpus Christi all season. But it seems like it doesn't matter who you play because you're on the same page with your receivers. You got plenty of time to throw. Your offensive line has been protecting you all season. What are some of the keys to going into the championship game, to getting your mind prepared for another championship game?
Coach Dane tells us every day the only person that can beat us is us. So as long as we go out, cut out all the stupid mistakes, stupid penalties, no turnovers, just control the ball, we'll control the game, and it'll turn out in our favor.
All right, Marcus, everything that you've accomplished these last 2 years, man, and I know you still want to accomplish a lot more, but looking back, are you pretty proud of what you've been able to do here in a year and a half and all the stats and records that you've been breaking?
Yeah, but we're not done yet. We're not finished.
Yeah, I know you won a championship. You just got your ring last Saturday. How cool would it feel to win back-to-back?
It would feel great. That's the goal. Back to back to back if we can.
All right, give us, and I'm going to ask Coach Daniels in here in just a little bit, give us a little bit of a preview what we're going to be in store to see with Corpus Christi. Have you been able to watch any film? What do you think about their defense and what they have coming in?
From the film that we have on them, they look pretty solid. They have nice size. They're fast. They get to the ball. They create turnovers. So it's gonna be a good game. We just got to play mistake-free football.
Richard, go ahead. One more question for Marcus so we can get ready for practice.
All right, Marcus, as you prepare yourself for another championship game, what are some of the things that you give credit to as far as your work ethic and just the style of play and just growing as a quarterback and just learning the system and learning to be on page with your receivers? Or what are some attributes that you give credit to?
I guess nobody notices, but my senior year in high school, I didn't win a game. So I went through all of the trials and tribulations with that. So it just kept me cool, calm, and collected as a quarterback. No matter what happens, you got to keep playing. If it's good, keep playing. If it's bad, keep playing. So I've seen the bad side. I know I never wanted to feel that way again. So just hard work, continue to get better at my craft, and try not to let my teammates down.
Marcus, last question. This is to your fans, your family members, the entire Columbus Lions family. Why should they come out and support the Lions for a huge championship match on Friday?
It's Friday night. What else you got to do? What else you got to do? It's a championship game.
That's right.
In your city. What more can you say? Back-to-back champs is what we're going for. Come witness it in person.
Marcus, appreciate you always, man. I'll see you Friday for the pregame show. Looking forward to you bringing home another ring for the Lions.
All right. Appreciate it.
That is Marcus Brooks, the quarterback for the Columbus Lions. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's more Georgia Alabama Sports Live show right here, presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. Welcome back, everyone. Thrift Barringer here, Georgia, Alabama Sports Live Show. So I'm guessing Coach Daniels, because we're hitting him right at practice, is not going to be able to hop on.
Yeah, well, he actually was trying to hop on, but we were experiencing some technical difficulties. Hopefully he can get back on. I resent him the link, but we'll just continue to drive on.
Well, if he can't come on, we know he's busy, and we'll talk to him in the pregame show. The Lions taking on Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi does have one loss, Richard. That loss was to Harrisburg. I think this is probably the deepest team and the team that has the most talent comparable to the Lions. What are you expecting this Friday night?
Well, I'm expecting the Lions to jump out fast and get a quick score. I also expect their defense to commit turnovers. I mean, this is probably going to be the most talented team that they have faced all year, but I feel that the Lions are not going to let the noise just get the distraction in front of them, because I know that they got the goal in hand, and that is to win another championship. And this team has been beatable. They did lose to Harrisburg. I mean, the real Harrisburg team that the Lions had a very close win against up in Harrisburg. I do think that Corpus Christi is going to come out and they're going to play with a little chip on their shoulder. But the Columbus Lions, if they do their job, if they cut down on the mistakes, if Marcus Brooks just continues finding his receivers open, if the offensive line continues to protect them, and then also you got to think about special teams. I mean, we're waiting for a kickoff return back for a touchdown, and then that defense, DeAndre Brown, and just a great defensive line that just gets into the backfield and forces turnovers and gets sacks. And there's just a lot of great talented players for the Lions, and I expect the Lions to come out on top.
Yeah, and the Lions have looked excellent. They have a point blowing out teams at home by 60 points or more. They have just been domination at home. The last two games, 144 to 12. And let's bring on the coach real quickly. He's the head coach of the Columbus Lions. He is my good friend, guy I believe in. It's the Nighthawk, Damien Daniels. Coach, thank you so much for joining us real quick.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach. Dominant victory last week. We talked to you in the pregame. You want to make sure your guys stay focused. Just quickly rehash. Do you think that they were focused, and you think they came out strong on Saturday as you head into Friday's championship game?
We actually started out a little slower than I wanted to, but Peach State, they put up a good fight, which I actually liked that we had to go through that. So I'm actually a little more comfortable going into this next week that our guys are going to be focused and ready to go.
Well, Coach, you're taking on Corpus Christi. What can you tell us about them? I know you watched plenty of film. They are probably their best opponent or most formidable opponent in the last 2 years of the Lions in the new league. What can you tell us about the Tritons?
I mean, yeah, like you said, this is a great football team. And the more I watch them, they kind of look like us, almost. Especially on offense, they do a lot of good things. And we're going to have to play some football. So I'm excited for this matchup. And it's going to be a hell of a game Friday.
Coach, what are the keys to victory? I know you want to get out to that fast start and score quick and let your defense have a lead. But what are some of the adjustments that you're going to make if Corpus Christi does get out to a lead? I mean, you looking at the film, what type of team does the Columbus Lions match up with the Tritons?
Well, actually, we just want to keep the main thing the main thing. We don't want to get too up or too down no matter what happens, especially early on, because it's going to be a long football game. So that's going to be my message to the guys that, we want to ride the wave, and no matter what happens, good or bad, we want to stay mentally locked in so we can play 4 quarters, because that's what I think it's going to take to win this football game.
Let's talk about that defense. I mean, those 12 points you gave up last week I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was a couple incredible plays, that 4th down, one-headed snag by the running back, and then a deep pass that I haven't seen anyone connect deep on your secondary at all this year. So, again, maybe that was more luck than anything, but it still happened. What are you doing to make sure that no big plays are come about against the Tritons? Because you want to make sure you don't give them any confidence coming to the Lions' Den.
Yeah, just going back to the drawing board, just going back to the drawing board, going back to the fundamentals, making sure we're doing all the little small techniques right way. And, I just had a talk with my secondary, and it's actually been, they got kind of, I guess, relaxed because our defensive line has been so good, you know, and so
Right.
dominant up front. You know, the guys on the back end kind of relaxed a little bit, and you know, expecting, you know, earlier pressure. But you know, we just got to make sure we stay in. You know, we play the whole play.
Richard?
Coach, you didn't really have much of a bye going from Peach State and getting ready for the championship. You only had a week to prepare for this game. What were some of the practices like, and what was the mental focus to get your team prepared a week later for the championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually been good for us, man. You know, we've had so many bye weeks here in this past, you know, month or so. You know, it feels good to kind of have back-to-back games. So these guys are actually ready and primed up, man. We're gonna have one more practice tonight, well, one more hard practice tonight, and then you know, walk through tomorrow and be ready to go Friday.
Coach, leading up to this championship game, what's the message being to your team as you head up on Friday night? Is it the same old thing? You know, we do us, we're going to dominate, or is there anything special you're really preaching with your guys this week?
No, that's about the same thing, man. You know, be who we are and do what we do. You know, I tell the guys all the time, nobody can beat us but us. You know, and so as long as, you know, we don't go out there and self-inflict with a bunch of turnovers and penalties and blown coverages, you know, I think we're gonna come out on top.
Coach, we call you the standard, that you are the standard organization right now in the AIF. You want to end it with a championship night on Friday night, 7 p.m., Georgia Alabama Sports Live, pregame show at 5 p.m. We'll talk with Coach Daniels as we always do before the game. Coach, final thing to all of the Columbus community. You've been here for a long time. We want them to bring a raucous crowd in the Lions Den Civic Center on Friday night. What do they have in store, and what's your message to everyone?
Listen, this is what everybody's been waiting on. All right. You know, we've been getting a lot of slack these last 2 years about the scores and, you know, not really having any competition. But like you said, this is going to be the biggest game and the best game in the last 2 years in the Civic Center. So if you haven't been, or if you're tired of the blowout, you definitely want to come and see this one because it's going to be a great show.
Coach, can't wait to see you on Friday. Enjoy your practice. Thank you so much for your time, man, and good luck the rest of this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, fellas.
Good luck, Coach.
That is Coach Damien Daniels, the Nighthawk. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Lions. We'll talk about anything else that's happened in the wonderful world of sports. The Braves have pretty much given up on the season, it seems like, and more on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Be back after this. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. Welcome back, everyone. Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show here. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge. And thank you to Coach Daniels. Thank you to Marcus Brooks of the Columbus Lions. Cannot wait to be on the call on Friday for the AIF Championship game. Richard, couple things. One, Jerry West passed away today, the logo. Not only known, obviously, you know, many people, he went to 10 championships and only won one. But the guy was fantastic, was all world, a top 15, top 20 player of all time.
Yes.
but even more so what he did in the front offices as a head coach for a little bit with the Lakers, and then he was
Right.
the GM for 20 years and won 6 championships. He created the Showtime dynasty in the 80s. He created Kobe and Shaq. And Jerry West did a great job with Memphis, helped orchestrate the Clippers, did a great job with the Warriors. This guy has had his fingerprint on a lot of winning organizations and winning dynasties these last 30, 40 years in the NBA. So we send our condolences to the West family as Jerry West has passed away. Any thoughts, Richard?
Yes. The three-time Hall of Famer as a player, as an executive, as a member of the 1960 U.S. Olympic basketball team, known as the Logo, Mr. Clutch, the Zeke from Cabin Creek. He played in the NBA from 1960 to 1974. He did win a ring in 72. Finally got that ring after coming so close in the finals against Bill Russell and Bob Cousy and those Celtics teams. And he was a 14-time All-Star. He was a coach, and I watched not the documentary, but the TV show Winning Time, Showtime with the Lakers. And, he actually was not only a scout in the first couple of years, he officially got the GM title in 82, but he is responsible for building the Showtime Lakers with Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, Michael Cooper, Byron Scott. Those group of players, it attributed to 5 rings in the 1980s. And then he drafts Kobe Bryant when all these other teams pass up on him, and he said he's going to be the best player in the draft, and he is responsible for the Shaq and Kobe years. And he stepped down as general manager in 2000, but, the foundation was already laid for 2 more titles. But how about what he did at Memphis? We're talking about a franchise. They used to be the Vancouver Grizzlies, averaged 20 wins a season. And year 1, he takes over as the general manager. They make the playoffs for the next 3 years. We're talking with Pau Gasol, Shane Battier, Mike Miller. They were not supposed to make the playoffs. What an impact that Jerry West did with Memphis. He was more of a consultant with the Warriors, was responsible for their championship teams, and also the Clippers. What can you say about what the Clippers have done with Lob City? I mean, this was a horrible franchise, and they had their winning ways because Jerry West had his footprint on that as well.
Yes, he did, and it's sad to see him go and pass away, but we give our condolences to him. NBA Finals are tonight, and it's Mavericks and Celtics. Porzingis has this rare injury. I mean, the guy can't stay healthy. It's just these guys. That's why I'm worried about with Wembanyama. Same thing that happened with Embiid. They just can't get away from the injuries. These tall, athletic, linky guys. I think there's no way Dallas goes down 3-0, right?
No, and if Chris
swept, I'm going to say that the Celtics lose tonight, Mavericks get a big win, and then they move on to go 2-1. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to go down 3-0. As well as Luka and Eldon have played, Kyrie has not played great. He's going back home. It obviously bothered him during the Celtics being in Boston. I'm wondering how it's going to happen tonight. I think he has a great night. I think Washington has a great night. Kyrie's the 3rd leading scorer on the team. I think he has 30 points, and I think Dallas brings it to at least a competitive series at 2-1. Where are you going, Richard?
I think that Dallas is going to win tonight as well. Kristaps Porzingis, he's got a plus-minus at 20. When he was on the floor for the whole time in Game 1, the Celtics just blew them out. If Kristaps Porzingis does not go, this is an evenly matched series, and I got to give the slight edge to the home team, the Dallas Mavericks. I do want to see the matchup with Drew Holiday. I just don't know if Drew Holiday has like a complete motor where he's trying to shut down Kyrie and try to. The thing is that Drew Holiday could just focus on defense, and the Celtics have other offensive pieces. Derek White can get hot. I mean, we saw Pritchard throw a half-court shot just about. I just think that is going to be the X factor, how Drew Holiday plays on Kyrie. Can Kyrie make the adjustments? And I don't think he's going to shoot 30%. I think that Kyrie is going to get in there. He's going to get at least 30 points. I think that Dallas wins Game 3. I really want to see a series, Thrift. I want to see them win Game 4 so we can get it back to Boston for a Game 5 all tied up at 2-2. I still think Boston has the slight edge because they are the home team, and you still got to win one in Boston. So Dallas, if they win all their games at home, Boston could still feel confident that they got that home court behind them. But yeah, that health of Kristaps Porzingis is going to be huge because that could be the series right here if Kristaps Porzingis can't go.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's sad that he got hurt because he's playing so well too, Richard. Um, Auburn's going to be taking on Duke in the ACC SEC Challenge. I just wanted to throw that out there. Bama's taking on North Carolina, and
Oh, what a
all
match.
four of those teams are supposed to be ranked nationally
What
in
a
the top
matchup.
10. So that's going to be
Is
something.
is that going to be at Neville Arena or is that at Cameron Indoor?
I didn't see where it was at. I mean,
Oh, we got to get tickets if it's at Neville.
yeah, that game's going to be sold out. Maybe Georgia Alabama Sports Live can get some credentials.
Media credentials. Yeah, I would love to go to Neville Arena. I've actually never been to a basketball game at Neville Arena for Auburn. I know that it is just like nothing that you can imagine.
So Auburn's going to be at Duke, Alabama at
Oh.
North Carolina. So they're both going to be on the road.
Oh, man.
I know.
But how exciting is SEC basketball this year with Texas and Oklahoma joining the conference?
They're going to have 10 teams potentially make the NCAA tournament, Richard. That's how loaded. And then you want to see in college baseball, one side of the College World Series, 3 of the 4 teams are in the SEC. And then you have Tennessee on the other side. They're the number 1 overall seed. So I'm willing to bet the odds are ever in the favor of an SEC team winning another national championship. The Braves, I'm not even going to talk about the Braves anymore until I get Tyler Redmond on. We talked with Rick Beach. I mean, it's just beating a dead horse at this point. Until they find a way to get the bats going, maybe make a trade to rejuvenize, because right now they've been playing terrible baseball. They're playing one of the best teams in baseball, the Orioles, and it's just they're going in 2 totally different directions, it seems like. So it's just sad to see what's happening with the Braves.
Yeah, and the Braves are still in contention for the wild card, but it's going to be hard to catch the Phillies. I've been saying over and over again, this is just not the Braves team. They're just not playing inspired with the injuries, and the players that stepped up last year, they have just disappeared. I mean, I've yet to see Austin Riley or Matt Olson. Marcell Ozuna's having a good year, and also the bullpen is not what it was, and really the starting pitching. I mean, you can't constantly rely on Max Fried and Chris Sale to bail you out. And I think that the Atlanta Braves have got to make a move at the trade deadline. And maybe they might go into their farm system and get somebody into the minor league organization. I think that like Hurston Waltrip was a little too early to come up. He's actually playing in Double-A Mississippi, which, by the way, Thrift, I know that you guys were at Synovus Park. Golden Park is now going to be called Synovus Park. How about that? They had an incredible groundbreaking ceremony. I really wish I was there. I definitely would have been there, but Tim Hudson was there. Scott Miller was there. Mayor Skip Henderson was there. And I was just excited to see that Georgia Alabama Sports Live was there for the groundbreaking ceremony.
I agree, and that's I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be the next thing I'm talking about. It's huge what's happening here in the city. You talked about Tim Hudson. Every dignitary, every media person was there, Richard, covering this, and it was a lot of fun to be at. It was hot. Scott Miller was actually hosting it, so shout out to our guy Scott. But big things coming in the Chattahoochee Valley area. Baseball is going to be huge here. I don't feel like it's not going to be success. Damien Baseball Holdings, the CEO went and talked to us. They apparently own 34 other minor league affiliates. They own all 4 of the minor league affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. Pete Lavin, who I've hoped to have on our show here in the near future, the GM for the Double-A team. He's excited what's happening here. It's obviously a big move. Like, we've seen great things happen, but this, it seems like it's taking Columbus to a whole nother level and just elevating the city that has already got a lot of positivity. And now what happened in the high school ranks and CSU as good as they are, and now you add the Braves team with the Lions and the River Dragons, it's going to be a hotbed for sports. And I think that's awesome. And I think that was the biggest thing I took away from yesterday's groundbreaking press conference.
And I know we're sad to see historic Golden Park go, but Synovus Park is going to be the new ballpark, and I expect big things to come for this ballpark. Possibly in the future, hosting the Southern League All-Star Game, maybe high school tournaments, could possibly get the GIAA championship there. I think that this is going to be an opportunity just to get other events than the AA Braves. But we're talking baseball starting in April and ending in September. And so that's going to give us an opportunity to talk about it on our show. I'm very familiar with the Southern League. I used to work for the West Tennessee Diamond Jacks back in the early 2000s. It was a AA affiliate that was in the Southern League. And so I'm familiar with the Montgomery Biscuits, the Biloxi Shuckers, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Get familiar with those teams because these are going to be rivals for the AA Columbus team. I expect a huge rivalry with the Montgomery Biscuits. And you also have the teams up in the north of the Southern League, like the Rocket City Trash Pandas, the Tennessee Smokies. I'm just excited.
I am too, Richard. I know you're beaming, and I know you're excited for this Saturday. We're going to talk some more Summer League basketball and more. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. Welcome back, everyone. Thrift Barringer here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And, Richard, the guy that I've been trying to get on the show just came back on. So, Richard, take me off, if you don't mind, trying to intro and talk about Columbus United FC.
All right, well, Columbus United FC, it is Ted Lasso tonight. Ted Lasso night tonight as they are taking on Pensacola FC. Right now, as we get ready for just a great matchup, as Coach Brett Teach, who we had on the show last week, just talked about just the Columbus United and just the way that this outdoor soccer team has just really been taking the Fountain City by storm. They have been just a huge success. 7 o'clock, Kinnett Stadium tonight. It is Ted Lasso night as Columbus United FC is taking on Pensacola FC. Now on Saturday at 7 o'clock, we plan on being there for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll have the pregame show at 5. We're hoping to have Coach Brett Teach on. And it is Soccer Dad's night at Kinnett Stadium as they will take on the New Orleans Jesters. They still have a couple of more home games to wrap up the season in the National Premier Soccer League. And so looking forward to Columbus United FC out on the pitch, 7 o'clock tonight at Kinnett Stadium. I tell you what, we've had a lot of sports updates going on right now. We've got Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals is actually tomorrow. We've got the College World Series. It's set. It's like the SEC and ACC Invitational. That is always good. And then recently found out that Joey Chestnut has been banned from the hot dog eating contest. This is one of my favorite events during the 4th of July in Coney Island, and he is the GOAT. He is the 16-time winner, and he is not in it. I'm very disappointed. The U.S. Open, Scottie Scheffler is the clear odds-on favorite to win. I mean, no golfer has had this great of odds since Tiger Woods back in 2009. I mean, Scottie Scheffler is playing like Tiger Woods in his prime. And the U.S. Open is going to be at the Pinehurst Golf Country Club in North Carolina. As I got Thrift back on. Thrift. Yeah, go ahead.
Chris is shaking his head right now. The producer, Chris Gates, is here. He's like, what kind of shit show is happening on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live? I mean,
what are you talking about?
Right now? I apologize. I was trying to get Michael Woods on of Girls Inc., and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I messed up. I told him we were going to try to be there, but with Richard, you being out of town, Toy Guard's out of town, it literally was just me and Chris. I got Rick Beach yesterday, but I'd already promised Coach Moore 3 weeks ago that we were going to be here covering as many games as we could, and we weren't able to make it to Girls Inc. There was excellent basketball being played. We love what they do over there. Michael Woods does a lot for girls basketball specifically in this area, and they've been having fun all week long. They got Auburn playing in North Side, Green Forest. They've had Kendrick, Columbus, Harris County. I mean, I saw there was a ton of teams that were in it. So I apologize to Michael Woods and everyone at Girls Inc. that we weren't able to be there. And I told him we're going to have him on. We're going to talk about Girls Inc. We're going to interview him. I was trying to get him on now, but he's actually refereeing. So that's the reason why that took so long. So I apologize on that, Richard. But as you made mention, golf right now, Scottie Scheffler, the best golfer in the world, even though he got arrested a few weeks ago. And you talked about the Columbus United. I know you didn't know where to go at that point. You were just trying to go 16 different places. United playing right now against Pensacola. Brett Teach really believes that this team can be competitive. They're right in the middle of the pack, but that's expected of a first-year organization. Pre-game show at 5. We're going to have Teach on, Brett Teach. We're going to have on a GM, hopefully a player. And then, Richard, you're going to be on the call at 7 p.m. I know you're excited about that.
Can't wait.
The last couple of days we've been here at CSU. Robert Moore, I want to say thank you to him for allowing us to be here. I did an interview. If you missed that interview, go back and watch on why he does what he does here for the Summer League. Richard, 47 teams competed in this. We did
Unbelievable
10 teams. We did a game on Monday. We did 3 games yesterday. And then we did 1 this morning and 3 more this afternoon. So 8 games in the last 3 days, Richard. We did 4 last week. That's 12 games total, and that's hit 10 teams in our area. We did Central. They take on Peachtree Ridge. They're in 7A. They lost to Grayson, their eventual champion. So they lost to Grayson in 7A of Georgia in the Elite 8. Central lost to Hoover, the eventual champion, Final Four in 7A of Alabama, and Central came on top, and they didn't even have their point guard and Des Williams. So I was impressed what I saw with the Central Red Devils. It was a lot of fun, Richard. I know you wish you could have been here, but you enjoyed watching it as a fan, like everyone else. Elite basketball. And I'll tell you this right now. The Carver Tigers, what I saw that their JV team just did to Quitman's varsity team, it was 45-50 point beatdown. Carver is deep. Their JV team, who has TJ Woodson and Quadir Truesdale, who are going to start for the varsity as freshmen or get heavy varsity minutes. Scoop McCullough is the head JV coach. That team would beat a lot of varsity teams. They are, my opinion, at least one of the top 3 favorites in 2A to win a championship next year.
Yeah, we love Scoop McCullough. He won a championship at Richards, and now he's the JV coach for Carver. And I love just the developmental of players, and I'm excited to see TJ Woodson as a freshman play for the Carver Tigers for Coach Allen. Carver making it to the Final Four last year. I mean, and they're going down to 2A. I mean, how exciting is that going to be that Carver and Spencer are going to be region rivals?
And Jordan and Kendrick,
Columbus, Jordan,
Hardaway,
Shaw. They're all going to
Northside
be together.
They're staying in 4A with Harris County. So
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. By the way, July 18th, Richard, July 18th is 7-on-7 for Muskogee County tournament. We're going to be there for that. Cannot wait. Get your helmet strapped. Last year it was fantastic. Spencer ended up winning. We're going to be there for that 7-on-7 action. We also got Little League Baseball coming up, Richard. I know when we got the district all-star championships, we'll be there for that. 12-year-olds will be there for flag football championships. Jerome Bryant and double coverage. They putting on the flag football that's happening right now in the city. It's taken it by storm. We're going to be there for that, Richard. We're going to try to cover as much sporting events as we can. Again, want to say I apologize to Michael Woods and Girls Inc. that we weren't able to be there during their showcase. I know Porter Sports had something going on too. We haven't done any girls basketball. We haven't done any football, baseball. We're trying to do as much as we can. It's hard in the summer because a lot of the things that are happening are during the day. And unfortunately, me and Richard have day jobs. So we try to make it as best we can, but it's sometimes very tough. But a lot happening in this community. You got FC United, Fountain City FC, excuse me. They play in their championship. Brandon Swobel will be on the call for that. So you got Fountain City, you got Columbus United, you got the Columbus Lions, all happening this weekend. Go out and have some fun here in the area.
I mean, what else could you ask for? Just a lot of great sporting events in and around the area, and not to mention, talking about, we got the NBA Finals going on. We're really moments away, probably about an hour away from tip-off Game 3. We got the WNBA. The Atlanta Dream are playing the Indiana Fever on Thursday. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. I think that if you take away the New York Liberty and the Connecticut Sun off the Fever schedule, I think that that's the type of team the Fever is. Caitlin Clark is about a 20-point a game. They might win, they might lose, but it's close. You set that schedule up where Caitlin Clark's playing the two top defensive teams in the WNBA. But I know that we haven't really had a show talking about Caitlin Clark getting left off the Team USA team.
We talked about it on Monday.
Well, just a little bit, but I do want to just look back. I actually analyzed all 12 players that are on Team USA. They're all above 26. They all have multiple All-Stars in the WNBA, championship players. And the Las Vegas Aces have 4 of them. 4 of them. And one of them's injured. So maybe Caitlin Clark, who's been named as an alternate, because Elisa Gray is actually injured for Las Vegas. They've actually lost 3 games in a row. The two-time defending WNBA champions. But yeah, they have Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson.
Listen, I got no problem, Richard, with the roster.
No, the roster's great.
Yeah, and the Caitlin Clark's probably not a top 12 player, but I'm thinking in terms of rating, maybe you would want him on. But right now, it's getting to the point where it's so toxic to even talk about Caitlin Clark. I try to stay away from it. When it gets to the point of we're name calling and where it gets to it's this. I guess the word would be toxic. It would be a lot of animosity in people's voices. I don't like it. And I don't think that's good for anyone when it comes to sports conversation. Sometimes we got to just be able to agree to disagree in terms of things. And it's gotten to way too deep, in my opinion, especially in the landscape of just sports in general. You don't have to take it to that level, but it's what happens sometimes. We got NBA Finals, as we talked about the Braves. We talked about them. We talked with Marcus Brooks and Damien Daniels as the Lions get huge championship game in the AIF. Cannot wait for that, Richard, on Friday night. We got SEC Media Days coming up here in the near future in the next couple of days. I'm just excited to see what's happening in the wonderful world of sports. We got Sports Vision's radio show tomorrow with me and DJ Jones, 92.1 Smooth R&B. And by the way, walking up right now is Coach Anson Hundley. I definitely got to got to bring him on camera. Come on over here, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
They won't be able to hear you and stuff, but this right here is the man, the myth, the legend. Coach, real quickly, tell us how your summer league's been going and your summer's been going with your girls.
Summer's going pretty well. We got a bunch of young girls this year, but we're working extremely hard. We got about 3 wins so far, so we're excited about what's going on.
All right, Coach, you had to replace some key contributors last year. Talk about how the young people are coming along, because I watched the boys team. I mean, they're about 40 deep, Coach. I mean, their JV team can beat the varsity. I know you're pretty deep as well. What are you seeing from your young girls as they're coming along, replacing some stars like Miss Chubb and now I can't think of her name. I just lost my train of thought.
Jasmine Thornton, Aubrey Wilkins.
Jasmine Thornton.
They're coming along pretty well. Like I said, our bench is still pretty deep. We just got young girls coming off of it, but they're learning. As they learn, they get better. And we just putting in the time. You know, the more we work, the better we're going to be. So we still plan on being in the Final Four, Elite Eight, making another run at a state championship.
I mean, when you have a dominant program like Coach Hunley, that is, it's not rebuilding, you're reloading every single year, Coach. I saw that you played in the Porter Sports. They had their team camp this week. You have Carver 1 and Carver 2. Are you splitting it up where you're trying to get as many girls, as much action as possible to see what you got for the upcoming season?
Definitely. We're sitting at about 25 girls right now. So we tried. We could have did 3 teams, I think. But no, we split them up in 2 teams so they can get more games. And a few of the young ladies there, they'll be doing varsity as well, so they end up playing like 4 games instead of just 2. So
nice.
They just got to get it in as much as possible.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for walking up on me, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Legend Anson Hunley. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more Georgia Alabama Sports Live. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. Welcome back, everyone. How cool was that? We just get Coach Anson Hunley, the legend himself, who's got multiple state championships. He's excited about his team.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Excited about their team, Richard. I've heard Jabria Lindsay's been putting on a show. I was talking with her dad, Travis, because I was doing Central today. And Richard, woo! That Jabria has been putting on a show here this summer, and she's going into her junior season. You talk about Caitlin Clark. Jabria Lindsay will be playing in the WNBA into the not-too-distant future. And Regetta Williams thinks that this Central team could be doing things that they haven't done in a long time. I'm excited, Richard, for sure.
I'm very excited about the teams here in the area. How excited is that? You got Carver and Hardaway going to be region opponents. Jabria Lindsay coming back for Central, and the Central Lady Red Devils and Red Devils are going to be just showcasing in that gymnasium, and we're hoping to be there for Georgia Alabama Sports Live during basketball season. I mean, I really want to be there with you, Thrift. I mean, I love basketball, and you're doing just a great job just showcasing these players during the summer league.
With your job now, Richard, so that you're good when fall starts, because when fall starts, we did, and we still haven't put the graphic up because Chris doesn't want us to be great, but we did probably close to 200 games, I think, Richard, 150 games in total with all the sports. And then if you add the shows and the interviews, close to probably 300, it probably is.
Right.
We're going to probably try to we're going to try to double that. I don't know if it's possible. Chris is looking at me like right now, you're crazy as heck. God, you're crazy, Thrift. I have my man Chris. I'm going to tell you right now, he's MVP. We were going 2 buildings at the same time. Man, it was cool what we were able to accomplish. It was just me and Chris. Rick Beach, shout out to him. He's going to be an integral part of us, the voice of Harris County and all things Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. He did a great job calling some basketball too, Richard. So thank you to him. Thank you to everyone that made this possible during our team camp. We got the Swoosh League next week, Richard. We got still Columbus United Soccer we're going to hit on. The Lions in this week. We got a LaGrange play date coming up here in a few weeks. Calvary's taking on Central. You got Spencer playing in it. That's one of the teams that we really want to hit. Kendrick, we really want to be able to see as well. So, and then also starting next week, we're going to start doing interviews with ADs and different coaches around the area. So be ready for that here on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. Well, Richard, we got the NBA Finals coming up here in about an hour and a half. Everybody enjoy it. I think the Mavericks beat the Celtics to make it 2-1 and make it a competitive series. And the Lakers, I'm still looking for the coach too. Sorry, Richard. That's why I was looking around because I know they're in deep need. And now you got J.J. Redick saying he doesn't want to be the second option to anyone. You got Dan Hurley, who is like, yeah, I'm good. I'll stay at UConn for $6 million less a year. Good luck, Lakers, next year.
I think that Dan Hurley turned that down because there probably was word that got out that Rob Pelinka was going to draft Bronny James. And Dan Hurley wanted no part of that because I think he said if a player that I probably wouldn't recruit at UConn, no thanks. So good luck to whoever gets that job because you're going to end up having LeBron and Bronny James, and which we want to see as sports fans because I think it's cool that a father and a son.
And it would be fun to watch, but come on, Richard.
It'd be fun, but is he really worthy of getting drafted by an NBA player, a team average 5 points a game at USC?
No, no chance. But it's going to happen, and if not, if Bronny gets drafted somewhere else, then you're taking over a Lakers team that's not going to have LeBron James on it, that has no draft, not a lot of draft picks, and very bare in the cupboard. And then you would think Anthony Davis would want to be traded too, even though I think he's about to sign an extension. Well, we're going to wrap it up with thanking everyone again for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. We're coming up the rest of the week. We got Friday's pregame show for the Lions championship game at 7. Saturday, Columbus United, 5 o'clock. Pregame, 7 o'clock is going to be the kick. And then next week, we do it all over again. Richard.
Breaking news, Thrift. Kristaps Porzingis is out for tonight.
I don't think he comes back. I think he's done. And I think Dallas, you could see a huge problem. It wasn't just the scoring because he put up 16. 12 in the game two before he got hurt, 20 he was on his way to scoring 20 in back-to-back games. But it's also just what the energy he brought to them and knowing that they can get really into the chest and really full court press a lot of these guys because they got rim protection with Porzingis. Now you don't have that. I wonder what's going to happen. If Dallas wins, could they get on a hot streak? And you know one thing about Boston, especially this team, sometimes they can be a little fragile mentally, and I'm wondering if that's going to happen in this series. From Richard Holdridge, I'm Thrift Barringer, Chris Gates saying thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you on Friday for the Columbus Lions pregame and championship against Corpus Christi in the AIF. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.